Why is your sales call killing the sale? Let me ask you that question again. Why is your sales call killing your sale? Now, this just seems absurd, right? How can a sales call be responsible for killing your sale? I mean, it blows one's mind to even think that that could be possible. But what we're going to discover in this Business Booster live stream is that the very thing that is designed to bring life and blood into your business, that's designed to help you to create the lifestyle that you've desired for not only yourself, but your loved ones, the very thing that is designed to help you to bring clients on board so you can affect change and transformation in their lives is actually the thing that is hindering you from being able to make a sale. Welcome to another Business Booster live stream. And if you haven't met me before, I am Jor'EL. Yes, I'm going to take full credit. I did give birth to Superman, for those of you that are wondering. And in this Business Booster live stream, it's all about helping to give you everything that you need in order to finally go full time with your coaching business. Or if you've currently got a coaching business, let's say you're making between, below 3K per month, and you want to scale it to the 10 and 20K per month mark, then this is the live stream that you want to attend. We do it every single week at 6 p.m. here inside this Facebook group. And today, as I've said, we're talking about everything designed to do with selling, because I think when I share with you the secrets, okay, the secrets behind why I've been able to go full time in my passion driven business, the secrets behind how you can finally grow your business so you can go full time or scale it to the next level. And when you realize that the very thing, your sales call, right? The very thing that's designed to actually help grow your business is hindering your business. It's going to shift everything. And why do I know that? Because it shifted everything for me. Look, when I first started out, I found selling stressful. Okay, I found it a very icky process. It was something that just went against every fiber of my being. And it wasn't that I was scared of it, but it was more to do with the fact that I was it just felt unnatural, right? You meet someone and then you've got to try and sell them something, and there's always ideas around money, but putting that aside, because I had a very good concept and a good mindset around money, it just didn't feel the best. And so before going on to sales calls, I would feel nervous. Before going into sales calls, I'd feel anxious. I would then go onto the call, and because I'm so nervous and so anxious, I'd mess the call up. I would leave my calls feeling like, oh, I should have said that, or I should have said this, or, I should have handled it this way. And so after the call, I'll beat myself up. And ultimately, because I wasn't understanding how to do this correctly, it was meaning that I wasn't able to go full time in my passion driven business. I was an engineer. I did that for 10 years. It got to a stage where it was totally dissatisfying for me. And I just decided that I wanted a way out. But you can't find a way out. You cannot grow your business until you really understand the art of selling. Now, I can see some of you saying hello, and I'm so happy to see you on this call. And what I want you to do is let me know where you are tuning in from. Just comment in the comments below, because we have people joining from all over the globe. So it's always awesome for me to see where you guys are tuning in from. But yeah, and effectively, until I mastered what I'm about to share with you inside this particular Business Booster live stream, I was unable to get my business to work. And what did that mean? It meant that I stayed years inside a day job that I absolutely loathed. I didn't. It began to get even more irksome, right, towards the end, especially when you want a way out. But not only that, if you're currently in your day job right now, I know that it affected my mental health. When you know that you have a bigger calling, comment below if you know you have a bigger calling in the world, right? You know that you're here for a purpose. You're here for more than doing that treadmill-like existence where you're going to a day job day in and day out, where you feel undervalued, you feel underappreciated, but you know you have a message. You have a product, you have a service that needs to get out there inside the world. It's the most frustrating thing when you are not able to get that message across, and where you are left feeling like the best kept secret. And we're going to blow all of that out of the water, okay, guys? We're going to really get to the nitty gritty of what's going on in your sales process, what you need to be doing differently, and how you can really shift sales from feeling icky, irksome, pressurizing, hard, and when it feels hard, you want to procrastinate. You don't even want to be encouraged to actually book sales calls because it just doesn't feel natural. And I'm going to show you how you can make this process feel entirely natural. Now, let me do as I always do. I'm going to share my screen with you because it's really important that I give you the opportunity to be visual, to help you to be able to take notes. So I'm going to just share the screen right now. And as I said, we're going to be looking at why your sales call is killing your sale. Imagine that, guys. Your sales call is killing your sale. All right, so we should be able to see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Comment in the chat below. And I'm going to delve into this. So one of the things that I want to say up front is there's going to be an opportunity to work with me at the end of this session, or at any time. At any time, if you feel like something I've said has resonated, you're tired of going on this journey alone, you want to know how to do this and fast track your progress, then just comment "I'm ready" below, and either myself or a member of my team will reach out and help you to do that. All right, so let's dive in. Let's really understand why your sales process is, and your sales call is killing your sale. So where could you possibly be right now? Okay, perhaps you're struggling to make 5 to 10 high ticket sales every single month. Just imagine, and when I say high ticket sales, I'm meaning a sale of 2K and above. Just think for a moment right now, what would 5 or 10 consistent high ticket sales coming into your business every single month do for you? How would it change your lifestyle? Okay, maybe you're finding selling awkward and nerve wracking. That icky feeling, that butterflies inside your stomach. Maybe your palms get sweaty. Maybe you just go blank during the call. Maybe you don't even know what questions you should be asking because the whole thing just gets a little bit overwhelming. And perhaps you wish you could be more relaxed on a sales call and more confident that the outcome would be a sale. How would that feel? How would that change your mindset going into the sales call if you knew that there was a high probability that that sales call was going to be a yes? Maybe you beat yourself up after the call because you messed the call up. How many times do we do that? We come off the call and we feel like we didn't handle it right. The person's told us no. We feel rejected and we beat ourselves up for days after. It affects our mood. It affects our relationships with other people. And it's all because the desire to grow your business, to provide the lifestyle, not only that you want, but also to affect the change in the world that you want, it's being hindered because you're not able to get this part of the process right. Perhaps most of your sales calls end in no. Like, how do you grow a business if most of your sales calls are ending in no? Or they may not say no, but they're like, it's not the right time, or I need to think about it, or, I need to speak to a spouse. Whatever plethora of, objections that you get, ultimately it means that you did not actually make the sale, right? Maybe most of your sales feel like a fluke. Does it feel like you don't have a systematized process to bring a client in, an absolute stranger, and then nurture them to the point where they are ready to work with you? Does, like, every time you make a sale feel like you need to go and celebrate because it almost feels like it's a fluke? And what is the consequence of all this? Well, you are either still stuck in an unfulfilling day job, which is most likely beginning to affect your mental health, or you're unable to build a consistent cash flow, and that stops you from providing the things that you desire, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones. So where would you want to be? Okay, because over here, you are making steady and consistent sales every single week and consistently hitting those 10 to 20K months. What we want, guys, is consistency, right? We want a business, a brand that we can depend on. A brand that we know is bringing in a certain amount of money every single month so we can actually make plans. If you're not sure how much money is coming in, how do you plan for the next car? How do you plan for the next home? How do you plan for the holiday home? How do you plan for the next holiday? You can't, because you never know whether or not what money you're going to be bringing in monthly. We want to make this a more predictable process. Over here, imagine it's your loved one's birthday or a special occasion, and you were able to buy them everything they wanted, not just some of the things that they wanted, or you're able to buy them the exact thing that they wanted, because now you're not having to be overly careful with money. You know, maybe you're finding over here that most of your sales are actually being made offline, right? With no need for a sales call at all. Okay, that's one of the realizations that I've got since I've been working in the way that I'm going to share with you, is that now most of my calls are not even, I'm not even really needing to have sales calls, because most of the selling is just being done through good conversation beforehand. And I'm going to show you how you can do that, because that will literally just free you up when it comes to making sales, if you could just make them offline. You're no longer looking at sales as awkward. In fact, you now realize that selling is the highest form of serving. Now, if you have a pen or a pad, or you're making notes on this one, I need you to write that one down, okay? Selling is the highest form of serving, because a strong part when it comes to sales, two things can happen. Either you can be making the sales call too pressurizing, as we're going to see, but also the mindset around sales can be difficult, right? You can be thinking that sales is something that's icky, something that, is forcing something onto someone. But the moment you shift it to understanding that selling is the highest form of serving, the whole game changes. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that selling is the highest form of serving? I say it because, let's say, many people, when they're coming into the coaching industry, they instantly want to charge cheap, right? They want to charge a low price, $100 or $70 or £70, like, not charging what they know they are truly worth. And one of the reasons they do this is for two things. They think that the sale's going to be easy, and they also think that it's going to mean that they're going to get their message out to more people. Now, let me just break it to you, because I've been in this game. This is my 5th year full time. But even before that, I was trying to figure this out years before that. I have tried every single trick under the book. And the one thing I can tell you is that it takes as much effort to sell a low ticket offer as it does to sell a high ticket offer. Let me say that again. It takes as much effort to sell something for like $100 as it takes to sell something for 2K plus. Because think about it, guys, you still have to write the posts. Okay, you still have to put the content out. You still have to share the information to help someone to understand what it is that you have to offer. Just because the price is low, someone is not going to just jump and buy and grab your offer. Okay. And another problem that we have when you don't see selling as the highest form of serving, especially high ticket selling, is that if someone does, let's say, buy your product or service, then oftentimes it ends up as what's called in the industry shelf development, because they haven't put their money where their mouth is, right? It's no longer a high priority because they're not vested in it. Think about yourself, okay? If there's a program that you've paid $100 for, and let's say something happens, like an opportunity to, I don't know, go on holiday or do something else, will you think twice if you miss that training? You won't think twice, because it's like, I can lose £100. But if you've vested or invested 2,000 plus, you're now going to really start to focus in on making this a priority and getting the result that you want. And for your clients, it's no different. You now have a business that you and your loved ones can depend on. People are now starting to take what you offer seriously. How many of you feel like your offering is not being taken seriously? You know that you can make this transformation. You know how much value you can add, but it's not being taken seriously. Well, we're going to shift all of that when I share with you what I'm going to share at the end of this video. Also, as a result, you are no longer having to be careful with money. No more fights, no more arguments, no more second thoughts. All of these things, the problems that not having enough cash flow can bring, being able to put that to bed once and for all. So if this is not your reality, then it usually means one of two things. Either you have no sales process, and it's called a sales process for a reason. There are steps that need to be included in order to nurture your client so that it can have a high probability of being a yes. Or you have what I call a bottom heavy sales process. And what do I mean by that? It means that you are too reliant on the sales call to actually make the sale. And this is why your sales call is killing your business. Because if you're too reliant on the sales call and you have to do too much on a sales call, and you haven't equally distributed out the actions as you're going to see as I explain them later on in the video, then this is why your sales call is killing your sale. Ultimately, ladies and gents, it means your brand is not working for you, or you have unrealistic expectations. Okay, so what do I mean that your brand is not working for you? And also, what do I mean by unrealistic expectations? Essentially, you have to realize that everything that you do, okay, it's from your posts down to your sales, down to your conversations, down to your stories. Every single thing that you do within your business is contributing, okay, to your branding. Because oftentimes many people believe that branding is just about colors, logos, and fonts. Maybe it was about that before the birth of the internet, but now with the birth of the internet, the concept of branding has shifted. And so now your branding is the sum total of all the events that you have going on in your business, but it also needs to take into account your client journey, and it also needs to take into account your sales process. And ultimately, your brand is there to help to do a lot of the nurturing for you so that you don't have to pick up the heavy lifting. All right. And so, what I'm going to share with you right now in terms of how you build your brand, but not only that, how you create a scenario where you are not having a bottom heavy sales process. And this comes from my unique formula that I've created. And I specifically share elements of this under what's known as the brand phase. Okay, there's 5 elements to my process, but what we're going to look at and delve in a little bit more deeper is actually looking into this phase here, which is the brand building phase. All right, so let me ask you a couple of questions. Would you buy a car without doing your due diligence? And when I say due diligence, would you buy a car without the color, knowing the color of the car, without knowing the price of the car, etc.? Just comment below. Let me know. Would you just walk into a shop and just buy a car? Let me ask you this again while you're commenting below. Like, would you walk into a sales shop and just literally buy a car because the sales system told you it was the best one on the market? Or do you need more than that? Come on, guys, let me know before. Let's make this interactive. Do you need more than that, right? Do you need to know what the color is? Do you need to know what the price is? Do you need to know that it can surface your needs? Do you need to know whether or not it's electric or it's unleaded or it's diesel? Like, do you need all of this information before you are willing to make a sales decision? Just comment yes below if you know you need this information. Because if that is the case, right, and I can see some yeses coming in, if that is the case, then why are you not treating your clients as you would like to be treated? Let's talk for a moment, because within the coaching industry, there's lots of practices that seem to go on where we seem to want to, tease people. We want to hide information. We don't want to be upfront with certain things like our prices. And then we get shocked for some reason when someone comes onto our sales call. We effectively tell them what the price is for the first time, and they turn around and have price shock. Like, why would you be surprised that that's happening where you would, if you were in that situation, go through the same feelings, right? And this is something that's really rife through the coaching industry. So what we have to really think about, and this is, I like to give the essence of what it means to be a coach in this day and age. Okay, I don't like to create dependency. I want people to be able to logically think for themselves and make an informed decision. Okay, and so if you know that that's how you would feel, why do you feel that your clients will behave any differently? And ultimately, what this means, it means that you need to stop selling and start helping people to make informed decisions. Let me say it again. Stop selling and now focus on how can you use your brand, okay, the sum total of all the activities that you do within your business, how can you use this to help people to make informed decisions? Tell me, what do you prefer? Do you like being forced into something, or would you prefer being able to make an informed decision? Which one would you feel comfortable with? Which one would you move more towards? Either someone that's forcing you into something or someone that is helping you to make an informed decision. Just let me know before. Either say forced or tell me informed decision. Because it's really important, guys, that we recognize that we have to start treating people as we want to be treated. And let's talk about the phenomenon of the sales call. So the sales call is usually like a 90-minute call. If we're looking traditionally, it's between 60 to 90 minutes, right? And what usually happens is maybe someone's, come through via an advert, or you've bumped into someone, you've had a little conversation, you say, okay, let's jump on a call. And then in the sales call, you try to, like, show the person, where they are, where they want to be, and then you want to look at, like, where what it's costing them not to have the result. And then you then try to show them, what you and your process can do from them. And then you share the price, which is usually the first time that the client's ever heard what the price is. And then at the end of it, you then are trying to handle objections to try and then make the sale. Now, is there any wonder why this process feels awkward? Is there any wonder why this process feels, you know, unnatural? And I believe, when I look back, and one of my beliefs is that this practice of doing the sales call in this way is almost what I call an archaic practice. It was developed before the internet existed, and it was developed at a time where businesses didn't have an opportunity to really nurture clients. Either they were able to get advertising on TV, and therefore, someone called in from an advert, let's say, and they had that one opportunity, or they were doing cold calling. And again, you catch that person in the moment. If they're willing to speak to you, then you've got to, like, dive into it and really try and make that one opportunity count. The birth of the internet has changed this. You don't have just one bite of the cherry. In fact, you don't have to cram everything into that one sales call. Okay, this is why the sales call is killing your sale. Because what do you need to be doing? All right, every potential client needs to go through what I call the nurture, sale, and close framework. Okay, the nurture, sell, and close framework. So what does this mean? Every potential client, I don't care where you've met them, how much rapport you think you have with someone, none of that matters. Every single client, okay, has to be taken through this process. It may mean that you don't have to spend more time on any particular part of the process, but every single potential client needs this, all right? So when I talk about nurturing, they need to be given an opportunity to get to know you and your service and your solution. And they need to be able to get to know all of this in their own time. not with you on their back, breathing on their back in a sales call, trying to force them into a sale. No one can think like that. If you think the sales call is pressurizing for you, it's also pressurizing for your potential client. Why? Because they're scared. They know at the end of the call, there's a possibility they're going to have to part with, let's say, 2K. That's a sizable chunk of money, right? And so you want people to be nurtured in their own time without feeling like they're being forced or pressurized to do anything. And so as a result, this is something that should be set up within your brand when you build a brand correctly, that should happen outside of a sales call. The next part of the phase is what I call the sold phase. This is where your client needs to understand the logistics. How much does it cost? Okay, how long is the program going to be? Right? What is the makeup of the program? And again, your client should be able to mull over this in their own time. Too many people are waiting till the sales call to start communicating this information. Let's look at the biggest and the best out there. Let's look at the iPhone, for example, right? You know how much an iPhone is before you go in to buy the iPhone, right? And let's think about it. The iPhone is a physical product. It's easier to sell a physical product than it is to sell information. Why do you think that is, guys? Comment below. Why is it easier to sell a physical product than it is to sell information? Just have a think about it. Why is it? Come on, comment below, right? I'm going to give you some choices. So is it number one, because the physical product, okay, is tangible, right? That the physical product is something that someone can actually hold. You know, it's something that someone can get instant gratification from, compared to information that's inside your head that you're sharing with someone that takes a process before the end result becomes an eventuality. This is why it's easier to sell a digital product. And even with something that's easier to sell, people are given the information to work out and make a decision before they come onto a sales call, right? And so the sold aspect of this framework should be done before the call. So what does that leave? It means that the closing part, and what do I mean by closing? Closing essentially means enrolling someone into your program. The enrollment phase, that's exclusively what the sales call should be reserved for, the enrollment phase. Okay. And so if you've done your nurturing element properly, if you've done the sold element properly, and then someone comes onto the closing part, which is the sales call, what usually happens is that they have just a couple more questions that they want to finalize. You and them have like a little bit more of a chat, but you've also got a good indication before you come onto the call that this potential client is ready to move forward with you. And what's happened, well, also what happens is sometimes the transaction happens offline. You don't even need to have this part here. Why I think it's good to have the enrollment part done on a call is because it just enables you to be able to bed that person in. One thing we don't want is buyer's remorse. Okay, we don't want someone who's made a decision, and to be fair, once they've gone through this process, there really isn't any buyer's remorse because they are really have been helped and guided to make an informed decision. But it's always good as part of, customer care, just to, enroll someone in and to bed them into the program, to, have maybe a celebratory drink on the call before they then move and become part of your community, right? Now, the problem that most people are having and why the sales call is killing the sale is because people are either confusing selling and closing. And as you can see here, I've shown you there are two distinct phases. Selling is giving people all the information that they need up front, like how much it costs, logistics, etc., so they can make an informed decision. Okay. And closing is once they've got all of that information, now it's just about finalizing the working relationship. And if people are not confusing closing with selling, then what they're doing is trying to do all of this on the sales call. And this is why selling is hard. This is why selling becomes icky. This is why you hear more no's than yeses. This is why every time you make a sale, it feels like a fluke. This is why selling becomes this real massive minefield that you've got to build yourself up before you jump onto the call. It's because you've not got a brand that is handling this on your behalf so that it makes your job easier. So this is where the power of what I call a well thought out and crafted brand comes in. And it's what I refer to as a cyber celebrity brand, okay? A brand that is designed to nurture, a brand that is designed to sell, and a brand that is designed to either close on offline or that's designed to support you with the close at the end. And there is a specific way, okay, when it comes to understanding how you bring all of the pieces together. You know, every single thing that you do, and this is my belief and this is what I teach, every single thing that you do, from your posts to your conversations to your trainings, everything that you do should be designed as an asset. Okay, I don't like working hard, I like working smart. Okay, allowing content, good, crafted, belief changing content, to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Okay, if you write a post in a certain way, it will become an asset you can use for life. Lots of coaches out there are just, you may be guilty of it yourself, posting for posting's sake, right? Create good pieces of content so that they continually work for you. Imagine this: you bump into someone, and because you've created, you know, good pieces of written content, you've got good online content like trainings, you know, you've got good webinar type content, you know, you've got good pieces, good assets behind you. You meet someone where they're at, and you're instantly able to provide them with a solution to their problem, which not only helps them with the solution to their problem, but also gets them very clear on all the things that they need in order to make a buying decision. This is how you begin to replace some of the big guys. Let's talk about this for a moment, okay? Because many of you may be in competition, and I don't believe in competition in terms of, like, you know, I believe your clients will be drawn to you if you give them a reason to be drawn to you. But ideally, until someone knows that you exist, until someone understands how you work, they're looking at somebody else. And essentially, that's your competition, right? Let's say the big players that have tons of money to pump into advertising to do this for them, right? You know, we're talking about 3, 4, 5K per month pumping into advertising. Some of the bigger ones out there are spending even more. Like, if you have that money, by all means, just go and pump it in ads. But if you don't have that money, then it becomes even more crucial that you understand how to set up your brand, okay? And so the question is, how do you, with a potential client, displace one of those bigger brands, okay, that they have been looking at? How do you displace that and replace your brand inside their mind? Because ultimately, when you're building a brand, what are you trying to do? I'm going to say it again. When you are building a brand, what are you trying to do? And you might want to write this one down. You are trying to own a space in your potential client's mind. That's all it is. So that as soon as your potential client has the problem that you have the solution to, they instantly think of you. You are trying to own a space up here. And if you don't have a brand that's working for you, let me give you the classic. So many coaches expect that they have one conversation with someone, they bump into a person, and that instantly they should become a client. And if they're not a client, then guess what? They're not even interested in maintaining a relationship with that person. Like, why is this even a thing in our industry? Why are we looking at people at just as just price tags, as opposed to looking at people that we can help and serve? And I believe it's our duty to understand that business, especially when it's coaching, is a short-term, mid-term, and long-term game. And I'm not going to go into the depths of that because I've done other trainings in terms of understanding where your client's at. Okay. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say here and to get across is that with your brand, it supports you to continually nurture someone so that you don't have to just rely on one sales call. And that's the biggest key here, guys. Understand that you've got to break the entire process up and understand that you have to have assets within your brand that's going to help you to do that nurturing. Okay. So, for those of you that have resonated with anything that I've said here, if you know that now's the time that you need to start thinking about yourself as a brand, okay, and begin to create a brand that can really help you with the heavy lifting. If you see yourself as a brand, but you don't feel your brand is working for you, and how do you know that? You're not getting the financial result, or if it's not the financial result, then you're not getting the um, transformation that you would want inside people's lives. If this is something that you really know that you need support and help with, I would love to support you on that journey. Okay. I would love to show you how you can go about and build a cyber celebrity brand and build and and show you how every single thing that you do in your business can accumulatively work for you. And this is how you nurture people over time and how you create a consistent income stream in your business. And as I said, if you want us to have an impartial chat, what I'm going to offer you on this call is we're going to have an opportunity to look at where you are right now. We're going to look at where you want to go. And we're going to look at what your brand is currently doing right now and what needs to be included inside your brand to really help you to take it to the next level so that you can begin to make consistent sales. And if you know this is what you need, then just comment "I'm ready" below. And as I said, either myself or a member of my team will reach out to you and we'll set up an impartial chat. The chat will be absolutely free. And you're going to walk away. If you think I've given value here, imagine if you have a one-to-one conversation with me where I can actually specifically ask you questions about your business. And then we can together, I can show you how you can build a plan specifically for your business. What you'll recognize, guys, is I don't hold back. And so on this call, you're going to walk away with so much value. Even if you decide that it's not something that's right for you, you will know what you need to go away and do to implement inside your business. Look, I've really, really enjoyed serving you on the Business Booster live screen. Just comment below if you've enjoyed it, if you found it useful. If you have, tag people into this video, so that they can find out about it as well. Let people know about the Facebook group. If you know that there's other people, other friends and colleagues that will benefit from being a part of this group, let them know. Let people come in and let's begin to really build businesses and brands that really, really work for us. All right, guys. So until next time, next week, take care. And I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon.